I gave her. You see?
Way too.
Yo, what's going on, my brothers and sisters? I've been meaning to do a video on this the day it came out, but life be lifing, bruh. You know, so this is about The Last of Us. Honestly, I'm kind of tired of talking about this game, this series, but it also seems like so is Neil. Neil might also be done and tired of talking about this series, and potentially Last of Us 2 could have been the very last Last of Us we see in this series. But before I get into that, I did want to watch the official trailer for Last of Us, for the HBO's Last of Us season 2. I'm not sure if this is going to be the last, season for Last of Us 2, because I don't know if they planned on like extending it and making it, more longer into its own story, or is this going to also be the last season of for Last of Us, HBO's Last of Us, because it's supposed to be based off of part 2. I don't know what they plan on doing, but let's watch the trailer for this first and then hop into what could potentially be the end of The Last of Us, bro. How they about to ruin this season, boys? Let me stop.
You okay?
Yeah.
This is where we live. And what's that?
The fence.
What's inside?
People.
What's outside?
What's the name of that group again? Seraphites.
Monsters.
And I will say this, even though, I know it got, I think, awards, for the first season of The Last of Us HBO show, even though I was not a huge fan of the first season. Y'all know some of the gripes that I had, the big moments that were in the game and the way they played out in the show, if not with the acting, just with the way that they showcased it just didn't hit the same. Whatever, some people loved it, some people didn't like it. I was kind of like in the middle, but I do still plan on watching this season. I'm still a fan of Last of Us. I will always be a fan of Last of Us. Yeah, let's keep watching.
By the time the sun comes up tomorrow, there's a very good chance you'll be dead.
You're gonna lose.
Don't you know what he did?
You swore.
Hey, man. For you suckers. For you suckers that ain't played Last of Us Part 2, boy, are you in for a hell of a ride. You're in for a hell of a ride. So, but yeah, that was the trailer for Last of Us Season 2. It starts next month. Probably, again, I still will be watching, if you want to, because when part 1 was out, we did like watch parties for it on my Twitch, so I probably still will watch it. Again, I still am a fan of Last of Us. It's just, I'm so tired of talking about this. I really am. But moving past that, I do plan on watching. I did want to get into something that Neil had said. I think this was last week. I was speaking with Variety ahead of the Last was season 2's debut. He was speaking with them, and he said, "Don't bet on The Last was Part 3." He goes in to say, when asked the question, he said, "I was waiting for this question," Druckmann said, apparently sighing at the mere mention of a hypothetical Last was Part 3. I guess the only thing I would say is don't bet on there being a more of The Last of Us. This could be it. Now, if you guys remember, they had said, I think a few years after Part 2 and after all the hatred died down for it, that there was definitely going to be a Part 3 of Last of Us. Now, I don't know if things have changed because of, now they have the intergalactic game to worry about and focus on, whatever. But he went on to say, "It's up to us whether we want to continue it or not," the Cuckman said. "Our process is the same thing we did when we did Part 2, which is if we can come up with a compelling story that has this universal message and statement about love, just like the first and second game did, then we will tell the story. If we can't come up with something, we have a very strong ending with Part 2, and that will be the end." Now, it's kind of funny that he says that because a lot of people still think that Part 2 wasn't even necessary, that Part 1 ended perfectly. There really didn't need to be nothing else told about the story. But, Part 1 was so successful, there was no way they couldn't do a Part 2. If we're talking strictly story, I don't care what no one say. Y'all can argue. You can argue with your mama. Last was Part 1 has the better story. Last was Part 2 has the better gameplay, period. But yeah, just speaking for The Last of Us and this series, and you guys know, if you've been a long time viewer of this channel, I was one of the first fans of this game before the junk even dropped. I was all over this freaking thing. So, seeing the growth of The Last of Us and the fan base that this game has, and just the things that this series has gone through, going from Part 1 to Left Behind to Part 2 to, the whole factions debacle, whatever. I do think personally Last of Us should be done with. I just feel like if hypothetically speaking, they were to do a Part 3, what story could you even really tell in Part 3 that would truly add something to the series? Now, could you come up with something? I'm sure you could, of course. But, with just the state that the Last of Us series is in right now, the way, how polarizing and controversial Part 2 was, would you risk doing even more damage to the series? Now, I know Part 2 still sold incredibly well. The junk still won Game of the Year despite what people think about it. But, again, if you really, just how Neil was saying, if you can't really add something to the story that could be, something, groundbreaking and could truly build upon the story that they already have, especially if you don't plan on doing no freaking multiplayer for it in this junk, what is there really a reason to do a Part 3? I mean, it's crazy because it seems like The Last of Us has been like this ongoing long series, when really they have 2 main installments. It's just that they've remastered. It's just that they remastered the game so many different times. It literally seems like it has 5-6 games. Bro, the game has 2 games. 2 games, and it just feel like it's like it's been going on for years. When you compare it to something like Uncharted that has 4 different main installments with the DLC attached to it. It's just crazy how The Last of Us series feels like it's been going on for so long when it really hasn't. This is still a very new franchise. 2 games in a franchise is nothing. But Yeah, that's how I feel about the whole thing. But yeah, y'all leave y'all thoughts and comments, about what y'all thought of the season 2 HBO trailer. Will you guys be tuning into that? Would you guys want to see a part 3 for Last of Us? And them continue on the story and see what they could add to the game and stuff like that? Or are you good with the Last of Us part 2 being the end of this series? Y'all let me know all that and more down in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if this is indeed the end of Last of Us as far as like the games go, hey man, it was a hell of a run. They had a great run. Both games did incredibly well. I don't really feel like it's a failure at all because both games got a lot of attention and hype and praise and all that stuff. It's just, it's unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. To my next video, my brothers and sisters, I'll catch y'all boys in my next one, all right?